Hey, Scott.
What's up? How are you, my friend? Happy Tuesday.
I'm doing well. It is Tuesday. I'm super excited. In my household, like to have Taco Tuesday. So, that's what's been
We
on
do
my
too.
mind.
Yeah, we do too every Tuesday. It's something to look forward to every week, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Got to find the small things in life right now.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Whatever you can do to go day to day, that's for sure.
For sure. Well, I'm excited tonight. We're going to talk about, the importance of data, using data in schools, how we can, really get students involved in analyzing data and maybe even discovering a future career in data science. So I'm super excited about that. What are your thoughts around that, Scott?
Yeah, I love it. I'm a numbers geek. I mean, obviously, one being a math teacher, numbers kind of fall into that. But a sports fan my whole life, I've always loved numbers and stats and that kind of thing. And especially of late with all the technology that we have more data and we're getting it faster than ever before. I think it's fascinating to find out different ways we can apply data to learning, to teaching, and to all other areas of our life. So I've been looking forward to this for a while now and anxious to just kind of chat about it and expose some ideas to our viewers.
Yep, and I know there's people out there who say like, "Oh, data, it's so boring." I'm not sure that I'm really into that, but I'd say you use it every single day. Every time you get behind the wheel of your vehicle and you look down at your speedometer, yep, you're using data to form your next decision. Are you going to slow down, speed up? So it's all around us. I think it's super important as well. As a former science teacher, I literally would eat, sleep, and breathe data with my students. So just really excited to talk about this topic in an educational setting. And I'm really excited about our guests we have tonight. When we were looking for guests to talk about, the things around data, and we know this tomorrow is going to be the day of data that we'll be celebrating. I thought, who better to have on our show than my dear colleague and friend, Ankur. So why don't we bring on Ankur on the show? And Ankur, hey, how's it going?
Hi, team. Happy Tuesday.
Welcome. Thanks for being here.
So, guys, you're in a treat. You're in for a treat tonight, getting to learn from Ankur. So, Ankur, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do at Microsoft, a little bit about your role, and then we're going to jump into some of these discussions about data and how we can, support teachers and educators in teaching these great, valuable lessons with their students.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me here. Really excited about this. So, my name is Ankur Anand, and I'm a PM and one of the founding members of the Hacking STEM team. This was an idea around 4.5 years ago. For those of you who don't know, Hacking STEM was an idea which part of the hackathon, which is sort of an yearly thing at Microsoft. This is 1 week during the year when company literally shuts down. We are all highly encouraged to work on the idea that might be related to our day job or could be completely different. So hackathon was an idea, Hacking STEM was an idea in 2016, and today it's being used in 100 plus countries and in 7 plus languages. It's an amazing honor to have been part of this amazing endeavor. So the mission of Hacking STEM is to modernize and democratize STEM education. The way we are thinking about modernizing STEM education is by not changing what teachers are doing, but changing how they're doing it. So not changing or inventing new curriculum, but by hacking current curriculum. And that's why it's called Hacking STEM. Inventing new pedagogy, inventing new curriculum it's a long game. We wanted to have an impact right away. So what we did was we thought that we not change what teachers are teaching in the classroom, but we'll add or enhance that. So if you are learning or teaching earthquakes, you're still teaching earthquakes, but you're teaching that in a hands-on way. And now, because you're teaching the hands-on way, all Hacking STEM projects have 4 21st century technical skills. And those 4 skills are mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, software engineering, and data science. And Excel becomes a tool for data science. For this is, how do you prepare students for these jobs of tomorrow? How do you give them these future-ready skills for these jobs that have not been invented? So that's how these 4 21st century technical skills cover the basis and give you those fundamental knowledge to be able to get prepared for these future jobs. And that's how we are trying to sort of modernize STEM education. The way we are thinking about democratizing education is by reducing the economics or economic barriers to entry. You're very well aware that the STEM education is getting really expensive really quick. $1,000 robot is not uncommon in the classroom. Most schools in the US cannot afford it, leave around the world. So our mission from get-go has been, how do you reduce the cost of building these STEM projects? So So we've been using things that are inexpensive, things that are affordable, things that are available across the globe, things that cost close to nothing and can be found in your grocery store or in your pantry. So imagine building STEM projects out of paper cups and straws and wooden towels and plastic plates. And once you build these projects, you're able to connect this to Excel, Microsoft Excel, and stream real-time data. And real-time data is where it's at. And that's the beginning of the data journey.
Hey, so Ankur, can you talk a little bit about what do you mean by streaming real-time data in Excel? Give me maybe a little bit more context around that for those of our listeners that haven't been able to see participate in one of these lessons before. And then also at the same time, you probably can maybe share too where some of these lessons can be found so teachers can actually begin to use these either with their own students or their children at home. Absolutely.
That's a great question, Robyn. So, Excel has been a go-to tool for analyzing historic data or static data. But our idea during the hackathon was, what if you built a STEM project and were able to stream real-time data in Excel? So if you built a seismograph out of a plastic cup and you move that seismograph, how cool would it be if you get real-time data in Excel in terms of the seismic waves and you could visualize that data? So that's what I mean by streaming real-time data in Excel, where you can build a project and in real time, as you interact with your project, you're able to get data streamed and visualized in Excel in real time. To be able to support educators, we have built this add-in. It's called Data Streamer. It's available on all Excel SKUs. So depending on where you're accessing from, you do need to have a desktop version of Excel, but it's already installed. All you need to go is go to the options and check the box. It's already there in the software. So you don't have to do any downloads or what have you. So once you activate that and build a project and connect it to a microbit or an Arduino or what have you, you're able to get real-time data out of the sensors or your projects that you build.
I love this. I want to go back to my room right now and start working on all these projects. I get so inspired to tinker and play. But what's your 30-second elevator speech if you get into an elevator with a teacher and they find out what you do and they're maybe not anti-data, but they're certainly fearful of data and they think it's too much above their head or they can't quite wrap their head around it? How do we get more and more teachers to understand how they can leverage the data that's available without overwhelming them with all the technology and vocabulary that sometimes comes with that?
I would just say that data is all around us. Whether you look at where are you going, where you're coming from, how much you're learning, what you eat, and especially with the pandemic today, we are overwhelmed with data. How many infections, what is the infection rate, the number of things happening around us. We are all about data-driven.
Screen time we have.
Data-driven decision-making is where it's at. So whether it's mileage of your car or cost of your airplane ticket, data is key to sort of our decision-making. And the future, they say that with IoT, with AI, with all these technologies coming in, data is going to be at the heart of it because AI is triggering in the fourth industrial revolution, as they say. The first one came with the steam engine, and then came the electricity, and then it was the 90s and the internet, which was the third. The fourth industrial revolution is coming with the AI. So everyone wants AI, everyone loves AI. AI is the next big buzzword in education, the next shiny object. But people often forget that the roots of AI lie in machine learning, and the roots of machine learning lie in data. It all starts with a good old table. When you have a lot of tables, you put some machine learning on it, and you get a lot of ML, you can drive and develop some AI tools to support that. So I think data is the future, as you said. So
yeah, and I just think in our daily lives, it informs all of our decisions. And at work every day, data drives the work that I do each and every day. And Scott, I know you have maybe a few examples where you can share how you leverage data as an educator or as a coach. But it literally is like the basis for everything we do. It helps us build insights into knowing what we're doing that's right or what we're doing is wrong, and how do we make changes to that. But it supports everything. And I think about the days when I was in the classroom and I was looking at analyzing my students' data and what they performed well on or what they did not perform well on, or was there particular pieces of things that they were not able to understand. And now with the power of technology and AI and machine learning, a lot of that, the computer can do all that for you. So you can actually spend your time looking at the data that's already been provided to you, where you're not having to figure that out, and then do something with it and act upon it, make a change with it. So you can actually spend time harnessing decision making as a teacher to help your students develop rather than spending time on the menial task of getting to what is the number, right? Scott, do you have any examples that you wanted to share of how you use data in your everyday job as an educator?
Absolutely. I was brainstorming a bunch that I see in my own classroom as a math teacher, but certainly what I see when I go around campus and talk to educators around the country. And I'm glad you said that too, because we'd love our viewers, whether you're watching live or on demand, throw something in the comments and let us know how you're using data or how you see data being used effectively at your school, in your district, around the country. I know for me, there's two things that always come to mind. One's kind of the misuse of data, and one's the power of data. I see so many teachers, they're so focused on teaching the curriculum, right? They have to get through so many standards or so many chapters, especially like our AP and IB teachers that have to get a certain set of curriculum done. They forget about evaluating those points to see how much students are learning, leveraging tools where they can get not just a grade. That's like the biggest piece of data, right? Teachers think, oh, my class average is 75%. That's data, but there's so much more we can do with digging deeper into, how many students missed question 5 and why did they get 6 right but not 7, and really digging deeper into some of those finer data points. So number one is just the misuse or the missed opportunities with data, and the second is when teachers do use that, looking at like I think of the Insights app is perfect for teams right now. How teachers are understanding in this virtual and hybrid environment who's online, how many posts have they responded to. This is amazing real-time data that it would take us 55 clicks to go through everybody's account and find out, did they log in, when did they post. We get a snapshot of an individual student or a group or a class in real time. That's been a game changer for me, and certainly in the last couple of months as we started this school year. So I could go on, but data is so important. And there's so many little things, so many easy things you can enter into without having to take on the big picture,
Yeah, absolutely. So Ankur, kind of to take this back to Hacking STEM, and that I love the mission of Hacking STEM and modernizing and democratizing STEM for all students. Can you share with us anything what's coming up with Hacking STEM? What should we be on the lookout for? I know Day of Data is tomorrow, so can you share any activities of what is happening right now in the near future and how teachers can start getting engaged with some of these activities?
Sure thing. In the last 6 months, especially post-pandemic, Robyn, the number one feedback from teachers and our global community has been that while Hacking STEM needs everyday objects and they're inexpensive, it's really hard to deal with parts and pieces when you're remote learning and you're working from home, it's hard to deal with logistics. So we've been thinking about how can you build that hands-on component? How can you still drive data literacy in the classroom without having the prerequisite of building something or having to build a project to be able to get data? And that's been the number one feedback. And the second feedback has been, how can you deliver some of the Hacking STEM projects in a remote learning way through a Teams call? So that gave us the idea around Day of Data, which is, as I said earlier, the next big wave of technology is AI. And when you're building a pathway to AI, the first big stop is data. And we started thinking about how can we orient students to data? How can we give them this basic knowledge about data and data visualization? And we started building and thinking through about it. So there are two key moments in time coming up. The first key moment in time is the World Spreadsheet Day. I bet you didn't know it, but there is a World Spreadsheet Day. It's on October 17th. And Microsoft being the keeper of the world's biggest used, most used technology spreadsheet tool, we got to celebrate it. And so far, we've been celebrating that with the Excel gurus and the super users. But this time, we want to take this spreadsheet day to every student on the planet. And that's how we have designed these activities. So the first big moment in time was the World Spreadsheet Day, which is October 17th, and it's coming up. And the second big moment in time coming up is 20th anniversary of humans in space. So we have partnered with NASA to bring Day of Data to you. And what that means is that for the last 20 years, the International Space Station, which is hanging out above Earth, so 250 miles above the Earth's surface in the low Earth orbit, there are between 3 to 6 people living in that space station at any given time for the past 20 years. So the big human history milestone is that for the last 20 years, humans have been continuously living in space. And NASA has been thinking about celebrating this big moment. So we are combining these two moments of the World Spreadsheet Day, and 20 years of humans in space, and are bringing you NASA-flavored data experiences. So for the next 1 month, we are giving you opportunity to celebrate the Spreadsheet Day and then the 20 years of humans in space in the form of Day of Data. And you can engage in 3 ways. The first is go to aka.ms/day of data. Thank you, Scott. That was very so I will go here, and this is what you land to, which is www.aka.ms/day of data. It starts with giving you a little bit of context. Let me share my screen so that you can actually see it. Give me 1 second. Is it up, Scott?
Yeah, just minimize our broadcast so we can, and I'll add it to it. Yeah, there we go.
Thank you. So this is the landing page for Day of Data, for aka.ms/day of data. There's a little bit of context on why we are doing what we are doing here and celebrating the 20th anniversary and the World Spreadsheet Day. And there's a cool teaser video. It's a 60-second video that talks about all the data elements that we are celebrating through these activities. When you scroll down a little bit, there are 2 lesson plans. The first one is about stage 1, or introduction to data. This talks about, really, this is meant for young kids, probably aged between 6 to 10, 11. And the goal here is to give them very basic fundamentals of data around what are the types of data. For instance, we talked to them about there are 3 major types of data. Data could be an image, data could be a number, and data could be a text. And using that basic knowledge, we take them through this sort of interactive, self-paced Excel online experience where they have an opportunity to earn a space data badge. For the second stage, which is more towards sort of middle school students, which is age 10, 11 to 15, 14, this is more about looking at data visualization or introduction to data visualization and different types of charts and why we use that chart. I talk to so many adults, and many of us don't know why do you use a bar chart versus a scatter plot? Why do you use a stacked bar chart versus an area chart? And that's why we sort of design these activities, and they both are connected. So where the first activity ends is where the second activity starts. So you could actually use this as a scaffolded sort of opportunity to introduce students to data. And in both activities, students earn sort of space data badge. So the first way to interact or sort of participate in Day of Data is log on to this website, take advantage of these lesson plans, and sort of do this in your classroom. The second thing you could do is there's an amazing opportunity coming up to be able to talk to an astronaut. So we have NASA astronauts and rocket scientists, coming and talking or using sort of Teams live events. The first one is on October 14th at 10 a.m. Pacific, and the second one is on November 2nd at 10 a.m. Pacific. So same time. The goal is for these NASA astronauts and rocket scientists to come in and share the role of data, hopefully role of Excel, and how they use data in their daily lives and jobs, and then inspire our students and the community to engage in Day of Data. So that's the second way you can engage, which is talk to an astronaut. And the third and final way is participating in space data camps. So these camps are being organized by the Microsoft stores. They are free, and there's a link here where you can go on the store's website, register for the camp you want to attend, bring your students along. There are multiple ways we have seen these being used. Sometimes teachers use these as a PD, so stores are also doing as a professional development opportunity and training teachers how to sort of do these camps or do these activities in the classroom. And a lot of times, teachers also bring all the students along, and it becomes a virtual field trip to the Microsoft store where it becomes a guided experience and a walkthrough through the whole Day of Data experience. So as I said, there are 3 ways to engage. Log on to the website, download the lesson plan, and do this in your classroom. You can talk to an astronaut and also engage in these space data camps.
These are awesome and so digestible and easy, for someone to be able to pick up and do. And, you can do one activity or you could do them all. But I think that we're very appreciative for the Hacking STEM team working so diligently across, with partnerships with NASA, with our Microsoft Stores teams, doing day camps, et cetera. So thank you guys so much for providing these opportunities for all of our learners. But before we let you go, Ankur, we want to do a quick little, lightning round, learn a little bit more about you, a little fast facts. So are you ready for the lightning round?
Let's go. I mean, you can never be ready for this, but I'm as ready as you can be.
All right, they're going to be quick. All right, so first one, what is your favorite color?
Red.
Favorite word?
It's actually 3 words. It's let's do it. I keep saying that to my team. I keep saying that to my daughter. I'm all about getting things done. So let's do it.
All right. Favorite sound?
Sorry, say that again.
Your favorite sound?
Favorite sound? I love the sound of the rain. I know many people in the Pacific Northwest don't like it, but the context is, I grew up back home in India where it was really, really hot. Most of the year, it was 100, 120 degrees. And when the monsoon came, it brought a lot of respite and relief, and that sound of the rain and that nice smell that it brings when the first time you have a hard ground and the rain falls. So yeah, sound of the rain.
All right. To tag on that one, your least favorite sound, and then I'll let Scott ask you the rest.
Okay, the least favorite sound. I'm over my least favorite sound because my daughter has grown up, but baby's crying, especially in a cinema hall when you're trying to watch a movie.
Yep. One of our guests last week said the exact same thing, and I totally agree because I have a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old at home, so I completely connect with that least favorite sound.
The reason is that you can't do much about it. You have to be,
yes.
I mean, it's part of your life. You got to live with it, but
Very true. Very true. All right, 3 more and we'll get you out of here. What job outside of your current one would you most like to attempt?
Being an astronaut, given that I'm working with NASA. I would love to become an astronaut.
Love it. I was obsessed as a kid with the movie Space Camp and the idea of going to Huntsville and going to space camp. I'm totally in. What job would you not want to attempt?
Let's see. I'm really empathetic. I have huge respect, but in this time, it's really hard to be a teacher. And it's really, really hard. I've always respected teachers. Both my parents are teachers, so I totally know what it takes and how much effort it takes. It's really hard. So that's a job probably I would be afraid of to take at this moment in time.
Well, we're glad you're supporting teachers and all the work you're doing. So thank you.
Absolutely. Trying to make our job a little bit easier and more enjoyable, that's for sure. And last but not least, at the end of your career, what would you want folks to say about you at your retirement party?
I would want to say that he contributed a little to making education better, more interesting, and more fun. Yeah.
Love it.
Love it.
Well,
great stuff.
Ankur, we are delighted to have you on as a guest on our show tonight and learn all the different ways that teachers can get their students excited about engaging in data and preparing themselves for their future career. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll let you get back to your family and friends and fun, and we'll let you go do it.
Thank you so much. It was fun, and good luck. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Terrific. Thank you, Ankur. Have a great night.
All right, we don't have Ankur anymore, but you're stuck with Scott and I for just a few more moments. We're going to wrap through a few more things. So we're going to share some information with you guys, and then, as always, end our call with giving some shout outs to some amazing epic educators.
Yeah, so we just thought real quick we'd connect you with a few resources that will kind of extend this idea of using data and research and whatnot. And so I thought I'd just share a few books that I've read and been hearing about and learning about over the past, couple 6-12 months. And these are amazing resources. And I assure you that regardless of your level of data comfort or brain science or how much you know about it, anybody can connect with the information in these books. The first one is Brain Rules. I love that this book breaks the brain science and the data and research behind it into 12 rules. It's kind of like Brain Rules for Dummies, if y'all are familiar with that series. I think sometimes that series gets kind of a bad rep, but it's amazing that how it breaks down this really complex information. And I kind of think of this book as that style of book, really interactive and a great resource to help understand the data behind brain research and brain science.
Yeah, I love that book, Scott. I'd say that book actually made me fall in love with brain science in general. I'm so intrigued. It was my starter, if you would, in learning more about it. So I encourage everybody to check that one out for sure.
I agree. Yeah, it was my first book 3 years ago after my first Learning in the Brain conference, and I was about 10 pages in. I was hooked. It was awesome, and I've read it. I think I've read it twice since, maybe once, but it's a great book. The second one is still on the brain, but a little more kind of connecting to what we were talking about in our last episode with mindfulness and social emotional learning. This one just came out this week from ASCD. It's their book of the month. If you're not familiar with ASCD, that group of curriculum and development, they have an annual membership, and you get a monthly book that comes out. It's kind of really nice, great resources. This one in particular talks all about SEL in the brain and really focusing on building relationships and the importance of that. And I just thought it was really timely given all the struggles that teachers are going through with engaging students and getting authentic connections. In fact, Robyn, you and I were talking before we went live tonight about my class and just how some days the kids just aren't there. And I think any tips, any tricks that we can get to engage students during this time, I think are super valuable. And this book certainly presents a few of them. And lastly, this one is an amazing book, but I put that kind of caveat there at the beginning. It's definitely a heavier read, not unmanageable, but it does kind of get deeper into the actual brain science. So if you want kind of an intermediate to advanced read, this is one of them. The thing that I really like about this one that I think sets it apart from the other two is it kind of serves as a workbook. Each chapter has kind of a 3-2-1 questionnaire at the end. It pauses periodically and does a really good job of getting you to reflect. So you're not just powering through the whole way. Really, really like it. And I think they recognize the information is kind of heavy and deep. So they present those chances to kind of check your learning and really reflect on not just what you're learning, but how it fits in your world and how you can adapt it into your everyday teaching and learning in your classroom. So highly recommend that. Really, really amazing and impactful information. So Robyn, I think this is kind of become quickly one of our favorite segments. I know we love celebrating our epic educators. So I'll let you roll through our 3 honorees for the week.
Yeah, so our goal of the show is always to learn something new, share some resources that are out there, and celebrate amazing teachers. So we're going to end up this show tonight with celebrating 3 epic educators from across the United States. So let's go ahead and drum roll, everybody. And epic educator number 1 is a shout out to Melissa Stark. She is doing amazing work helping folks find their voice during remote learning. She's been leveraging, she was featured on closingthegap.com. So you can check out this article here and what she is doing with her students to help close that, not close the gap, find their voice during this remote learning time. So check her out. Shout out, Melissa. We are so proud of the work you're doing and are grateful to have you in our US MIE expert community. All right, drumroll. Next one goes out to the amazing Tammy Dunbar. Tammy is an amazing MIE expert and teacher in Manteca in California, North California. She always is really bringing her personality into her teaching and sharing her lessons in very unique ways. And she never also keeps anything to herself. She is always willing to share with other teachers, with other students. You can see here in this picture, she often puts on her white science coat and does very interactive lessons with her students. And we're just really excited to give her a shout out and are proud for all the work that she is doing to help students in Manteca. And then our last educator we want to give a shout out to is all of our Georgia Microsoft MIE experts. They have done an amazing job of really staying connected during this time when everybody is remote. They are gathering together and are going to host a virtual celebration around the same time as GAETC, which is the Georgia Ed Tech Conference that happens every year. It will be done remote this year. That group is an amazing group, and there are 35 MIEs that are actually hosting sessions to support other teachers at GAETC. So they're volunteering their time to help others, as well as then going to have a post celebration and connection with each other after the event. So thank you guys for living and breathing and walking the walk as leaders in our community. We appreciate you and are so excited to see what you continue doing next, and look forward to having you guys as showing up successfully and role models in your schools. So shout out to all of those amazing educators across the
Absolutely.
US.
Props to you. Always love celebrating the educators. And actually, Robyn, it's hard every couple of weeks to narrow it down. There's so many examples of all the wonderful things that are being done around the country. So, keep tweeting at us, keep emailing us, letting us know about the great work that's being done. We want to feature you guys as much as we possibly can on every episode. So again, kudos to all the Epic educators for sure.
Awesome. So we will be back again here in 2 weeks, guys, for our next show. And our next show, we are going to talk about inclusion. What does that look like in your classrooms and your schools? And we have a special guest that will be with us here. One of our teachers from Florida, Taylor Lowe, is going to join the conversation. He's going to share some personal stories about his incredible journey. He's got a fascinating story, and where he's been and where he is today. I won't spoil it and tell you all the accolades this gentleman has had, but I'll let him share his story with you. We're excited to have him on the show and look forward to seeing you all again in just a couple of short weeks.
Yeah, he definitely, I echo that 100%. He's got an amazing story, and just even chatting back and forth with him over the past couple of days, just to hear his excitement and wanting to come on the show and share his story and continue to learn and share what he's learned. I'm looking forward to all of our viewers getting a chance to hear from him and interact with him for sure. So all don't forget. Oh, go ahead, Robyn.
Oh, no, I was going to just remind all of our audience members, please comment on the show. Let us know what you like, what you would like us to maybe change and do differently. If you want to be a guest on the show at some point in time, reach out to us. We definitely want to celebrate you and the work that you're doing. You can also catch all of our past episodes on the YouTube channel. So feel free to go over to the US Microsoft EDU Live. That will take you to our YouTube channel, and you can watch any of our past shows or see what's coming up next.
Absolutely. Robyn, thanks for another great week. My mind is like spinning. I want to just continue to think about Day of Data and email all of our science and math teachers here and kind of keep that going. I'm hoping that our viewers are kind of thinking the same thing, and everybody watching will get inspired by what Ankur had to share tonight and the possibilities of what everyone can do with data in their classroom and their schools and around their districts too. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, thanks, guys. We enjoyed having you tonight. Thanks for, being my co-host and partner in crime, Scott. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Bye.